Hello and welcome to the Epic Master Course Tour for Math 273. This course is the third of a three-semester sequence that focuses on exploring vectors and calculus in three-dimensional space. When students first log into the course, they will land on the Getting Started page where they will see a brief summary of what we'll be learning this semester, as well as an introductory video that will just help them begin the getting started process and just how to navigate through the course and what to expect. At this point, students will not have access to WebAssign, which is where our textbook is, or our homework system. They will not have access to discussion forums, and they will not have access to any of the course content and lessons that will be available once they've completed the getting started process. So to walk through the getting started process, I've used adaptive release, and there's 5 steps that students need to complete. And as they complete each step, the next one will become available. So the first step students have to do is complete the course entry quiz, which they can access through the course menu. Once students have completed the course entry quiz, they can return back to the Getting Started page, where step 2 will now be available. This is a course overview that just gives some basic policies of the course, what they should expect on a weekly basis. And again, I organize my course schedule on a weekly schedule. So all of the homework and the assignments and the lessons will become available Wednesday morning, and everything will be due the following Tuesday night. The reason I do that is, again, I think most students are working on their schoolwork usually over the weekend, and so I don't want to be getting all their questions on the weekend as they're trying to answer or finish their homework and stuff. So I like to give them time to work and then ask questions, and then I have a couple days at the beginning of the week to respond and give them time to continue learning and completing their homework. I also include information about habits of being a successful student, policies on attendance and homework, form etiquette. How do we engage with one another in a constructive manner, and then other policies about homework and tests and the grading structure of the course. And again, a lot of this is also outlined in the syllabus, which is available on the course resources page. Once students have finished the course overview, they can return to the Getting Started page. If they click the Mark Reviewed button, step 3 will become available, and step 3 is to introduce themselves to their classmates. Once they've done that, they can come back and do step 4, which is to take a Getting Started quiz, which is just a quick assessment of have they been paying attention to the policies that were outlined in the syllabus and the course overview. And then once they've completed the course entry quiz, the last step will become available, which is completing the FERPA release and academic honesty agreement. Once students have completed step 5, they will then have access to the rest of the course. So they will be able to get into WebAssign to access their textbook or view their homework. They will have full access to our discussion board, at least the forms that are available this first week. They will also have access to the Unit 1 lessons. So on the Lessons and Documents folder, I have a weekly checklist which outlines just all the things that students need to do, again, on a weekly basis. And again, that's from Wednesday to the following Tuesday. And usually each week is going to involve some sort of online lesson, and then the corresponding homework assignments, and then there are 2 attendance checks. And usually the attendances are recorded based off their activities on Saturday and on the following Tuesday. And I will, each week there will be an announcement that will, again, list out all of these things, just to keep reminding them of what they need to do each week. As far as the lessons, each folder, I have it organized by the units that we give our tests on, which is basically the chapters of the textbook. But for each folder, again, I tell them which weeks of the semester we're going to be working with this particular unit. Just a brief summary of what's in that unit, along with the lessons that we're going to be focusing on, the units or the chapters in the textbook, and then what's the upcoming test dates, so they can keep all that and plan it accordingly. Within the unit lessons folder, again, I have all the unit lessons out. Each lesson is created using straight HTML, so it should be accessible. All of the math content is presented using MathJax, which is a latex converter, so it takes latex code and it converts it to HTML basically. So all of the math formulas and expressions are presented using correct mathematical symbols. I've also included a number of GeoGebra applets and activities. So again, since the course focuses so much on three-dimensional space, which we live in a three-dimensional space, but it's hard to visualize things when you're talking from a mathematical standpoint. So I have a lot of these little activities and applets where they can go in and just engage with the math and explore it a little bit, just to have a better visualization of what's going on as we go further through the semester and look at these topics. And again, there will be additional content and reading, some images, there will be some videos that they can watch embedded into the lessons. And again, all of the math formulas should be expressed using MathJax. I've also designed my lessons to adapt to various screen sizes. So if students are using a window that is smaller, or maybe they're using a mobile device that has a smaller screen, the lessons will resize all the elements of the lesson to fit within the screen dimensions that they are currently using. Again, each of the lessons includes the lesson objectives, so students can keep track of what they're learning and how they're progressing. And there are also practice handouts that they can complete, review the topics of that lesson. And then once they've completed the lesson and the practice handouts, they can then go to WebAssign. And in WebAssign, they have access to the current homework assignments that are due, as long as when they're due, and they will be able to access the ebook. The last thing I want to highlight in my course is the use of the discussion board to build community within the classroom. So all semester long, there's an open forum where students can go in and post, can begin conversations about anything they want unrelated to the course, or they can ask things related to the course. It's up to them. And then I will also have weekly forums where they will participate with one another. And again, the first week is just an introduction. They have to post and then begin building relationships with each other. And then for the first few weeks of the semester, the forums will be, the topics of the forums will be more about, how are they going to apply the math that they're learning once they get into their future career, or maybe we'll explore some better study strategies, or things like a growth mindset. So just things to get them to engage with one another that's not so heavy into the actual math concepts that we're learning about, but that will then, we will move into that as we move forward into this semester. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the tour of my course.